did the Kansas City Chiefs get bailed out by the refs, or did the Houston Texans honestly just not deserve to win the game?
I mean, it definitely was a little bit of both. I mean, there was definitely some bad calls, some no calls. And even when your commentators are talking about the refs, and then there's press game or post game of the Texans players saying they already knew that they were going in to having to face the refs. So, I mean, it was that, but then it was also the Houston special teams was just
an O-line.
I mean, the O-line too. I mean, they gave up eight sacks.
Yeah. That's bad. I mean, I get the referees had their issues. The hip drop tackle should have been called. The roughing the passer, the first one, I can understand why it was called because the referee had a bad angle, and it did appear to be high from behind. Obviously, bad angle because Mahomes stepped over, he blocked the view. It obviously wasn't. And in the second one where he scrambled around and both guys sandwiched him, it did look like a forearm could have been the reason why because the forearm goes into the helmet no matter what. That is unnecessary roughness. Now, I'm not sure if that's why it was called. I didn't hear if that was the reason why it was called. But I still feel like the Texans, you missed 2 kicks, Chris. You had 8 sacks given up. I mean, let's just be honest. It wasn't just the refs.
Well, they were 8 sacks given up, but like 4 or 5 of those were in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Because I remember seeing at one point towards the end of the game that I think there were 4 sacks against, and then I turned my head, looked back, and all of a sudden it said 8. It matters at the end of the game, but there were definitely calls. Portnoy even had a couple videos talking about it. Like, did you see the out of bounds, the LeBron flop that Mahomes did? No, they didn't. They didn't.
He tried.
Roughing the passer. The problem with the roughing the passer or the unnecessary roughness, rather, was it wasn't whether or not it was a penalty. It was the fact that you could call something when a guy is refusing to give himself up and then try to slide last second when tackles are in motion. When tackles are in motion, nothing you can do about it. If you're in motion to go low or to go midsection, and then all of a sudden he decides just going to fall down and get hit in the head, that's on him.